G'day guys, welcome to episode 4 of Balls and Beans. Hello Tom, how are you today mate?
I'm good. How are you?
Mate, I'm excellent. I'm sitting here sipping on my coffee.
Yes. Which I guess we should touch base.
We probably should.
Yeah, so we're very fortunate to get in the mail from our... Do a plug now, we'll do a plug later.
Do it now.
We got a nice little package from our sponsor, Darcy. Palms off, and Darcy sent us a nice little coffee to share. So we've done that. It's a nice little blend. This morning I got up early to use the coffee machine to make the espresso and made a nice little iced latte for the day.
Can I just ask you, it's freezing cold in Sydney. It's pissing down at rain. Why are you drinking an iced latte?
Because it was the easiest thing for me, because I don't have anything at work to kind of brew a hot coffee, and it's an espresso blend, so it's a darker roast, and it doesn't go too well with the style of coffee I brew myself.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah, it gets a bit too bitter, a bit too strong. It's good for milk, it's good for kind of like an espresso machine.
I'm really enjoying these
Or a
beans. They're very strong, smooth, just easy to digest. So thanks Darcy, really appreciate it man.
No, thank you for that.
Alright, we've got a few things on the agenda today. We had to change this at the last minute, which I'll get into. So we're going to go through the new cards, the green cards, the multicolour cards that we've seen released over the last week. We're going to talk about New York Comic Con, which has been bringing us all kinds of goodness, particularly about the Mythic Booster and also about Dragon Ball Super Superhero, which looks pretty cool. We're going to talk about the ban list. So ban list being released this Friday. We'll explore what our thoughts are and a little bit of what is a ban list. We're going to grind our beans as we always do. Spicy topic for you today, so make sure you stick around for that. And last but not least, we have our first ever amazing, wonderful giveaway. So we'll be giving out some goodies. We'll talk a wee bit more about that, so make sure that you're here at the end of the episode. Alright, new cards. So we saw a slew of cards between our last episode and today. We saw more blue reveals, promo reveals, a whole lot of multicolour stuff, and I think what everyone's excited about is Goku and Vegeta. Saiyan Saga, Goku and Vegeta, both here in green, two very different engines. Two leaders doing very different things. Two leaders that are uncommon. So for the collectors in you, opportunity to get both of these with a pre-release stamp. Which is awesome.
I think that's something that we spoke about was, but they've started to do this more and more, that the leaders are uncommon, so they can fall under that pre-release stamp. And like I said, I think it's a really good idea. I know there's a lot of, doing things for collectors and but I think doing this gives those collectors and players that chase to get that rarity, to get that max rarity deck, or as collectors, find their favorite character leader cards. They're always a little bit more rare.
It just makes sense, right?
Stamp. Yeah, and there's options there if you don't want to spend the money to get that stamp. You can get non-foil and foil version, and they're going to be 50 cents to $1.
Yeah.
But Vegeta, Goku, I'm interested to see which character is going to ask more for its price. Vegeta, I feel, is very easy to sell, but Goku is sought after by more collectors.
I think Goku, if people say to you Dragon Ball, they associate it with Goku, right? He is the face of Dragon Ball. Love him or hate him, he's synonymous with the brand.
I think the way that I've always explained it between the two, and I'll do it quickly, but Goku seems to be something that everybody will pick up. Everyone, because he's the main character, everyone likes him. But from my experience across the board, I find far more Vegeta fanboys, and I mean like distinct Vegeta collectors, than I do Goku collectors.
That's why. Do you think because you yourself are a Vegeta collector, so you find yourself in the circles of Vegeta collectors as you're chasing those hard to get cards?
It could be. But no, I think just in general, because I do talk to a lot of people, they tend to say, I collect this, and whether it's Broly, Boo, all these other characters. I don't hear a lot say, "Oh, I'm a Goku collector." Someone's like,
Yeah.
"Everyone's like."
I think a lot of it probably comes back to Vegeta just being a more robust character.
Mm.
Goku's just so two-dimensional.
No, that's true. I think that's very true. Yeah, there's been a lot, and like a lot of Vegeta's story has, I think that part of it is what a lot of people fell in love with the character that he went, the arc that he kind of went through.
I just like that he copied my hairline. So that's where I'm coming from. Out of the two decks, we have. I think the Goku is cool. I really like what they've done there with the Kaioken. So he powers himself up at the expense of his energy the next turn. So
Yeah.
he's going all in for that kill. If it doesn't work, you're sitting with a 0k leader on board.
And it's a good amount of power. Like, is it 45k?
Yeah. I just look. It's one of my favorites. It's everybody's. I think they got into Dragon Ball Z, and that was the saga. Where we met Vegeta and we explored him, and he started. He was like,
Yeah.
oh, this guy's a bit of a dick, but came to be the dick that we love. Take from that what you will. So Goku Engine's strong. I think it'll be good. I think it'll see play. I think Feet Kamehameha is going to see some abuse. Very strong card. Vegeta?
Oh, absolutely going to dominate the meta. I'm going to play it, and I think a lot of people can't resist, and Broly is not better.
Yeah, no, I think it's garbage. Garbage is a harsh word. Look, it's doing some interesting things. It's a leader that, within itself, on Awakened side, relies upon KOing an opponent's battle card, KOing an opponent's battle card to draw, and doesn't draw unawakened. It does nick their hand, though. I like that it rips a marker from their Unison when you're awakening, so that can, as we know, the Unison state gets pretty much reset when you remove a marker from it. So doing that during battle is a pretty cool thing to do. I like the King Vegeta Unison, so we now have effectively an arrival Unison, so that's hitting the field on your opponent's turn. Nutty.
And I think for that one, the only thing I took from it, and I'm going to say this because I stole this from somebody, but I was a bit unsure how that Unison's going to work of the counterattack Spirit Boost. So it's like I have to have a Unison out already, then on your opponent's turn, play a counterattack to get the 3 markers out. But then the other thing that my mate mentioned to me was the Frieza Charismatic then comes available because you have a Unison with 3 markers. And I think that's the...
2 or more markers, I believe, from memory.
Yeah, I think it was 3. Anyway, yeah, it doesn't matter. But yeah, so it's like there's certain plays with it. But in my head, I was like, I don't know it that well, but I'm like, so I need to have a Unison out already, need a Spirit Booster, then play it. I don't know, I just see myself just paying the cost and playing it like turn 3.
I feel the confusion beating off you already.
Yeah, I know. But I like how Vegeta's the leader and King Vegeta is second best in this deck. So
it's an interesting inclusion for a Saiyan Saga engine to put King Vegeta in there. I mean, King Vegeta was dust at this stage, right? Was he?
Oh yeah, no, he wasn't in it.
Yeah, no, he was, but was he dead already? Anyway, we're going down a garden path. Let's keep the pace going. So we also saw a bunch of multicolour cards. Support for various different archetypes. Broly Surge. We've got the new Raditz reboot leader coming out. Support for that. More blue-yellow stuff. Universe 6 support. A little bit of everything. So there's a lot happening this set. It's I'm keen to get my hands on it, to be honest with you.
And with the multicolors coming out, they're jeopardizing the Finn SPR. Maybe we won't see an SPR for Finn.
Well, we've already seen what that SPR is, haven't we?
The black SPR,
the multicolor SPR from the Comic-Con reveals.
Yeah, yes. Well, yes, that was the thing. There was some.
So, no Finn for you. It's all right.
No Finn for me, but SCR.
But use it for a real character. It's good. So, speaking of what was revealed at New York Comic Con, We saw a lot of what we're going to be getting with the upcoming Mythic Booster. So Bandai love to print products, which we love them and we hate them for. My wallet is smashed. I can't keep up. So the Mythic Booster is reprinting staple cards from the game's previous release library, alternate art, sexy foiling by the sounds of it and by the looks of it, and for the first time in a foil and attractive art style, reprinting the SCRs. So 2 SCRs that we're going to see reprinted. So to go into the draw to win one of these SCRs, you're paying an RRP of $192 Australian for a booster box, which boils down to about $8 a booster pack. So it's not cheap.
And no, it's not. And look, and like I was saying that, yeah, that's the retail price. To kind of compare it as well, you could probably pick one up around the 160. I think they're going to be a little bit more pre-orders about 160 per box, but still like
it's a very competitive market. I agree. I think a lot of retailers, particularly the online stores, will do it for cheaper. Sadly, we're seeing a trend with more of the brick and mortar stores where they're doing, more of a markup on Dragon Ball product in general.
No, it is, and that's where it's been quite difficult, and we've even had, because we've been trying to get some cases for the next set, and it's just really difficult because everyone's sold out and nobody wants to drop below the recommended retail price. So they're all being very competitive and almost sticking to their guns and saying, no, this is the price and we're not going to drop any further. But I think it's also kind of credit to the sets coming out. I think although I feel DBS is at a relatively low point in terms of market value and things, I think the stuff that Bandai's coming out with is very hype. Like Saiyan Showdown, Mythic Booster, they're doing some real, they're pushing it really hard. We have the Guess SCR coming out, and then not to mention the next set has that campaign rare, which we'll talk about another time. But, so they're really heavily pushing the game and the collectability and so forth.
But how much collectability do reprints have?
I don't know.
As a collector, do you want to sit on boxes of reprinted cards? Do you think these are going to increase in value, especially with the high price threshold?
I think you have to ask yourself then, the Collector's Volume 1. I think that's a really good example of what happens. I feel early on, it might skyrocket, and if you want to get it early, these cards are high quality. They're not just standard reprints. So there is a quality aspect to justify the price, and I guess we will probably see in time, I think it will go up, and then I think it'll fall back down. I would imagine that the cards, though, will hold some sort of value above normal cards. I think there is a collectability to it, especially with specific cards. But yeah, it's just really hard to predict because it's also very new. It's very nothing really to compare it to. But like I said, that collector's one where it skyrocketed to almost 5 times the value, and now it's settled back down. It's probably about 2 times the original price. So maybe we might see that. So maybe it will be good something to sit on. But if I sit on it, it's just going to be a box or 2. Not going to sit on a case or something.
Let's see. So other than the Mythic Booster, we'll wait till the exact cards. We'll wait for Bandai to reveal. We also have Dragon Ball Super Superhero. Superhero.
Yeah, that was interesting.
Yeah, I like it. I think it's cool. It's not leaning on Broly again, which is great. Yeah. It's not Dragon Ball Super Broly 2. It's going back to the Red Ribbon Army, which is great. I think it's awesome that they're pulling back to the Dragon Ball, more of the Dragon Ball stuff. It feels, I don't know, like a Dragon Ball movie almost.
No,
I like that Piccolo's a main character. That's great.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think there's even if, say with the Red Ribbon Army, even if, look, they're in it, but let's just say, for example, they're not the enemy anymore, they're obviously going to have a lot of reference to it. So there's, I think there's a lot of kind of like you're saying, there's a lot of kind of representation of the original Dragon Ball and things like that, which is really exciting. The CGI, hit and miss. Some people love it, some people hate it. I think the thing that I took away was there was a lot of moments that looked great, the moments that were off-putting, and I think that's. Look, I can see past that. I'll watch it just for the storytelling and the show that I love. I don't really care too much about the CGI or the style.
I think it looks good.
As long as it's vastly different.
It's a nice refresh.
Yeah, but I can see how people hate it too.
I wonder how much this will influence the upcoming animated Dragon Ball Super series that we will see.
No, definitely. I think, yeah. I think
if this is successful, I'm sure this will be the path they take moving forward.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the style that they do will also reflect on the audience. I think it's really important that DBS gets younger generation involved. And if that kind of caters to them and takes, me being the 33-year-old man out of it a little bit, I think that's only going to help.
I agree.
Involved,
it's good. You've got to keep new blood, and one thing that the card game needs really is new blood and more interest in Dragon Ball as a brand. Will hopefully bring more people to the game.
Yeah, so we'll see, and I'm excited to see how the market reacts to the movie. See what happens.
So Sam saying, assuming he assumed they created the Power Ranger androids, and maybe Bandai will be forced to make a good Piccolo deck. I agree, maybe. Not King Piccolo, just Piccolo. Regarding the Gamma 1 and 2, I'm interested to see what they're going to do with these characters. And from looking at the video, if you go about 12 seconds in, it's interesting to see that they have Goku, they have Vegeta, and they have Boo, all looking quite malicious, having smirks on their faces. It makes me kind of think that, these guys, Gamma 1, Gamma 2, are they being brainwashed, thinking these guys are the villains, they're the superheroes out to save the day.
Do you predict it now and just say typical DBS that at some point, if not at the end of this movie, the next, they're going to become Goku's best friends?
Of course. Yeah. Everyone loves Goku.
Yeah. No, well, that's it.
And of course, Broly making his cameo appearance in the dust there briefly, so it'll be interesting to see what part he does play, because I know a lot of the community love our boy Broly.
Yeah, and again, I saw a meme which I kind of had a bit of a chuckle with, was, Goku saying to Broly, like, welcome aboard, you're just another Vegeta, you're just my sidekick. So it's like, see how that one pans out, because Broly is a fan favorite.
Absolutely.
People love the character, so,
Yeah.
Goku's still number one, though.
Yeah, and I think he will always be number one.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway. Bandless. So we're seeing this Friday the 15th, the ban list. The preset 15 ban list. So we're in an interesting place with ban lists. We had a ban list, then an emergency ban list.
Yeah.
Which did a lot to address
the original ban list.
How stagnant the meta had become.
Yeah.
Which was great. Which now makes you wonder, well, what's left? What are they going to hit?
Yeah.
So there's some common predictions. Primarily the 7-drop Bojack Aegis. I think a lot of people are expecting that this will be banned, taken out of the game completely. They may limit it or errata it, but I feel like the easiest fix, as far as Bandai are concerned, will be just to hit it on the head.
Yeah, it's so hard I still consider myself a bit of an onlooker with DBS because I don't know the game as well. But like when I see like ban lists as such, it's like I wish there was another way. Like I know it's so much harder to do in a card game, but like in other games, I always like the reverse model where it's like if something's really strong, to like buff everything around it rather than nerf that one thing. But obviously with a TCG, you can't.
Yeah, it's hard with...
You can't just write out every other card.
15 sets in, right? It's hard. And unless they put in some kind of rotation, some way to control the pool of cards that are available, it's going to be so hard to lift everything around to a base level.
Yeah, no, exactly.
So
So
blue and yellow, blue and yellow, topping events, Aegis shenanigans, Zamasu, the counter Zamasu, counterplay Zamasu, bouncing any card back to an opponent's hand if it has 4 or less.
energy.
It's very strong, very good card.
It's
You're drawing off it. It's doing all kinds of things.
yeah, and I think well, I was my take on it is I don't feel like the card itself is bad gameplay. I think it's
People need you need a
interesting.
way to interact with Unisons. I think that's if you're going to put
Well,
something in the game, you need to let people
yeah.
have ways to deal with it to a point.
Well, but that's yeah, but that's my thought is what is when it comes down to it, it's what Bandai wants to do,
Yeah, well, everything comes down
and
to that.
yeah, exactly. But do they want Unisons to be touched or not? And if they don't, then get rid of it. But if they do, I feel like maybe limiting it for now, but bring it something else out. So there's other cards in the game that do something. Because
Yeah.
even like they did bring that extra card that I play with the Black Shinrenron, and it's like when they play a Unison, I can remove markers based off how many cards are in the drop era. I've only ever removed one marker, and even then they get a choice if they want to or not. So it's like that's nowhere near as powerful as that, and that's probably like the only other card I've seen that does anything to Unison. So I think they need to decide if they want to if they want to like be able to have an effect or counter Unisons at all. They
And
need
look,
more
Sam
options.
saying, a good solution here, don't ban Zamasu, just open it up. Give every
Yeah,
multicolor or color combination access to a Zamasu-esque play where you can interact with the Unison as it is
I
coming
would
into play.
I would feel more comfortable with that to
My,
give more options for others rather than destroying one.
yeah, no, I agree. And look, what I think it's interesting, and I'd love to know a bit more of what the logic behind Bandai's decisions around banning, limiting, and errataing things is. There's a couple of trains of thought. I'd like to know, hey, how much attention do they pay to fan feedback?
Yeah,
If you look at
yeah,
the recent emergency ban list, every major content creator I think out there was jumping up and down about Doug Broly and King Vegeta, Turn Kill, all these kind of things, and we very quickly saw a ban list. But that's
yeah.
I feel like that's one of the first times we've seen something like that happen. The other thing is what's coming in the next set. So now that we're seeing a very strong contender with the ramp ability of Kale,
Yeah.
will we see a lot of high energy blue cards getting hit? Android 17 turning the tide. Will we see that get hit?
And that it also just affects like when something like say the Zamatsu's in play, and there's no other options. It's almost like when they come out with a new set, they have to really think about what are we going to give, blue yellow. Like
Yeah.
because you can't give them much more when they already have such an advantage. And then
You
if they're
just
not refreshing the deck,
you
it
just
then
need to
becomes
balance it,
stale.
right? I mean, you don't need
Yeah,
to say what can I do specifically for this color. What can I do for the health of the game as a whole?
yeah.
Uh, and
It's a
Sam
fine
saying
balance.
he thinks it forces them to look at it at least. The same
Yeah,
thing with Bibbidi and Turles.
yeah.
So cards in the
No,
past, that were staples of I think it was the set 7 Boo or set 9 Boo rather.
okay.
They had the Bibbidi Super combo, which gave the attacking battle card 1,000 power for every card and drop a warp. So
Okay.
uh, it was pretty nutty. Anyway,
Yeah.
the other thought I had on it is how much does the financial impact come into play here?
Mm.
You say, yeah, they're not going to ban Zamasu, they're reprinting it. You say the same about SS3 thwarting the Dark Empire. They're not going to ban it, they're reprinting it. But will they limit it? Will we see it reduced to
Oh,
one? Or errata it?
how bad would you feel though? Because if someone bought play sets of all the thwarting the Dark Emperor like Gogeta stuff, like you're dropping. Oh, off the top of my head, I'm going to say at least $600 if you bought everything.
Nature of the beast,
Maybe.
though. People get there as long as you get your use out of it. You know what? If you 2 months ago, if you paid X $100 for a playset of thwarting, and since then you've used it to win multiple locals, multiple regional events, top, then
You
money
pull
well
the Vegeta
spent.
winner.
If you
You
were
made
to be
more.
that guy who goes out and drops $400 on them 2 days before a ban list, then you only have yourself to blame, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's true. So word out for everybody. Just wait until Friday.
Yeah, I mean, don't do any impulse buys before a ban list. Now wait for the sell post. All right,
Yeah.
so that brings us to the tail end of the segment. We'll talk a wee bit about our regular grind. So Tom, why don't you tell us what grinds your beans?
What grinds my beans is sale posts and pricing. I hate it when there's two things. One, when somebody sets a price and it's high and they don't budge or whatever, that's fine. That's acceptable. It's when they don't have a price. And then you do the dance around the bush about, oh, how much do you want to offer? Well, what's your price? Rah. And then nobody wants to admit anything. And then you waste all this time and you figure out that, they actually want 20% more than TCG converted. And you're like, okay, well, I'm going to offer you this. I know everybody wants to make as much money as possible with buying and selling. Like, I get it. I think at the same time, like, when you're going to be much more efficient in buying and selling if you go into this sale with a price in mind. When you say, okay, this is how much I want, this is how much I'm going to ask for, and have the settling price already. Like, you can ask for 200 and you might get lucky and get it. But just realize, no, do you know what? I'll accept 170, and just be a little bit more open. I just hate the amount of time I've wasted. I've even had one guy when I messaged him on Instagram trying to buy a card, and basically I offered him about 70% of eBay last sold, which I know it's a bit of a low ball. Literally, banned, blocked, called me all sorts of names. And then and the funny thing is, I don't even think he realized that we were friends on Facebook. And I was like, oh gosh, that's awkward.
That is very awkward.
So but it's just when somebody doesn't set a price and then they go, well, what do you want to ask for? It's like, well, I'll give you a price. Like, I'm the type, I'll give you a price, but don't get offended when I give you one. Talk to me, negotiate. I'm not going to give you my best
Exactly.
price.
I mean, as somebody who, look, if somebody's asked you to make an offer, it's basic business negotiation. You're going to start with a lower offer, expecting that they'll counter offer, and you'll eventually meet in the middle. Perhaps even if your name is Spinach, that happens. But regardless, you end up in a happy-ish space, right? Where both parties, if you can come to an agreement, you'll sell, you'll buy, whatever it might be.
And you'll get your money, you'll be able to buy the next thing and move on to the next.
Is it ever appropriate to ask for an offer? When do you think that's appropriate? If I have my Awakened Power black label and I put it up on Facebook Market and I say, make me an offer.
Okay, those extremely rare and you want unique cards, I'll tolerate and go, I'll make you an offer. But the only time I'll accept it is if somebody has a set price and I say, look, I don't agree with it or whatever, then I'll say, make me an offer. I've given my initial price, then I want it. If you have nothing and you're just selling something, it has to be something pretty unique.
So Sam saying
kind of thing.
In the chat, only if there isn't price data, agreed. If there's, if it's a population one card and you have it, and public offers, 100% agree. You know what? Let people post in the chat just to get a feel. Be open, be transparent about it. There's there's enough skullduggery in the community. We want to keep the Elon moons away, ideally. All right, so look, let's wrap this up, Tom. We want to talk a wee bit about our first giveaway. So do you want to give the guys the details?
Yeah, so basically what we've decided to do is with, palm offs and a few between Shay and myself, we've kind of put together a little bit of a giveaway for people. Pretty simple. We just ask you to comment down below and we want to know your favorite coffee. So what do you drink? And what are you looking forward to coming into the Saiyan Showdown set? What card, what leader or character that you're excited for? So if you comment that down below, we'll get everybody's names and you'll be in to win one of these awesome binders.
Look how
It's
sexy that
a
is.
3x3 Palmos limited edition. White, comes with a nice case. I took it out of the cover because easier for you to see. We have a premium pack of, is it Cross Spirits?
It is. Cross Spirits.
Of Cross Spirits. And we're going to buy your coffee. So that's the giveaway. So do that, comment down below, and you'll be in a chance to win all 3 items.
Yep, absolutely. And that is about all we have time for today, I think. We'll be back same time next week. In the meantime, good balls, good beans, goodbye.